Welcome to the Joy of Cruising podcast with your host, award-winning author Paul C. Thornton, a weekly conversation with the amazing cruisers featured in the Joy of Cruising trilogy, comprised of The Joy of Cruising, Cruising Interrupted, and new release, The Joy of Cruising Again. Each book is a compilation of features about cruisers and cruise and travel personalities from around the world. It's the next best thing to cruising, hearing about cruising from the unique and diverse perspectives of Paul's amazing guests.
Hello, passionate cruisers. This is Paul, and I am delighted to welcome this week on the Joy of Cruising podcast, Jenni Fielding, creator of the Cruise Mummy blog and just named winner of the UK Wave Awards for Favorite Cruise Influencer. I featured Cruise Mummy in Cruising Interrupted in a section called Bloggers, Cruise Community Champions. I also was fortunate to host Jenni on a previous episode of the Joy of Cruising podcast, episode 31, Cruise Mummy. When last on the show, I congratulated Jenni for winning the 2022 Wave Award and vowed to have her back because she is a leader in the global cruise community. And I knew she would be going on great cruises that the Joy of Cruising podcast listeners would want to hear about. However, I have since hosted all of Jenni's co-finalists for the 2023 award on the podcast and decided we would bring the winner back on the show as soon as possible, after the winner was announced in November. So Jenni is back sooner rather than later. And we are excited about that, and we will still have her back on the show in 2024. Jenni describes herself thusly. I am a 38-year-old mom of two from Bolton, UK. I first developed my cruise addiction when we booked a honeymoon cruise in 2013. As soon as I stepped on board Allure of the Seas, I was hooked. So much so that we took our second cruise just 6 months later. Nowadays, cruising is a very different affair since the arrival of our two children, who are 8 and 6. One way things are different is that Cruise Mummy is an authority on family cruising. To refresh your memories, Cruise Mummy is one of the top cruise blogs in the world. Cruise Mummy is the second most trafficked cruise blog in the UK and the seventh most popular cruise blog in the world. She has been quoted in international cruise and news outlets. And now, Cruise Mummy joins the massively successful Cruise with Ben and David as the only two-time Wave Award winners for Bloggers Cruise Influencers. Welcome back, Jenni, to the Joy of Cruising podcast.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Just fine. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm great, thank you. Really good. Thanks for asking.
Well, you should be great. Before I say anything else, congratulations. I think this makes you the first winner of the UK Wave Awards Favorite Cruise Influencer 2 years in a row.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm not sure if I'm the first person to win it twice in a row, you know. Definitely honoured to win it, but I think Ben and David might have won it twice, did they?
Well, but they won it twice.
Oh, not in a row.
But not in a row.
Ah, okay, cool.
So you are historic.
Well, I'll take that. I'm pretty pleased with that.
So how's the family? Were they excited about your victory? Do the kids understand what's going on?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were really happy. They were like, "Oh, Mummy's won a trophy," which is yeah.
Now, we're going to get to the awards in a minute, but your husband wasn't there, was he?
No, I went by myself. Yeah, he was at home looking after the kids.
Okay. So before we discuss Cruise Mummy and your recent accolade, refresh our listeners' memories about yourself, where you're from, where do you live, professional background, family, anything you would like to share.
Yeah, sure. Well, I've actually moved recently. So I've always lived in the north of England, around Bolton. And just this summer, we moved to the south, and we live in Bristol now, quite close to the cruise port as well, actually, in Bristol. So that's about 200 miles away. So it's quite a big move for our family. But honestly, it's the best thing that we ever did. I can see the sea now out of my window. I can see cruise ships going past, which is just the absolute highlight of every day when I see that. And it's just
So,
lovely here.
so you moved to Bristol or from Bristol?
We
I
moved
missed
to
that.
Bristol. Yeah, we live in Bristol now, near the cruise port. So
So,
not near, not too. We're closer to Southampton. We're sort of 2 hours away from Southampton now, where we usually go on cruises. So as before, that used to take us about 6 hours to get to Southampton to go on a cruise. So now it's only 2 hours. That's a huge change. That was one of the reasons why we moved.
so Bristol has is another cruise port.
It does. It has a cruise port. It's not a big one. There's not a lot of ships go from there. But yeah, during the summer we see a few. But as well as cruise ships, it has a lot of cargo ships, a lot of container ships, a lot of car carriers. So we're
Mhm.
seeing all those go past all the time now. It's making me a bit of a ship spotter for other kind of ships as well as cruise ships. I could definitely see myself getting into that.
Well, the reason I had a couple of questions about the cruise port in Southampton, I finally have booked a cruise.
Mhm.
It's always a ways away, but we'll be leaving out of Southampton.
Oh, nice. Is that the first time for you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's not until I'm trying to think. It's not until 25,
Mhm.
but I've made so many friends, and I'm sure they're all over UK. But if anyone is close to Southampton, I hope to meet some folks in person, like yourself. So
Yeah, that'd be lovely if I'm around. We should definitely do
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
That'd be fun.
We've got plenty of time, and then I'll be able to kind of take in London. How far is London from Southampton?
Um, it's probably an hour or two.
Yeah,
Yeah. You've got a
yeah.
few days as well before or after.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll because we've never seen London outside of the airport.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll book a couple of days in London and do the touristy thing and you know, maybe get to see some folks. So were you finished giving us some background?
What else was I saying? Oh yeah, so we've recently moved. A bit of background. Yes, so I've had my cruise blog for about coming up to 5 years actually now, maybe 4.5 years. But I've worked in cruising for quite a long time. I've always worked in travel, and then I used to work for a cruise travel agent in marketing. And then I just started up my own cruise blog, and I do this full time now. So yeah, I just feel so blessed to get to spend every day learning about cruises and writing about them, and helping people to plan the perfect cruises.
So let's, as I say, cut to the chase and let's talk about the Wave Awards. So it says right there on the Wave Awards website something like it's UK's Oscars. Give us an overview of what the night was like, the entertainment, the venue, who attended that listeners might be aware of, the food, the champagne. Give us the inside scoop.
Oh, it was just amazing. So the Wave Awards, it's in central London, in Mayfair, which is like the nicest part of London, in what is probably one of the nicest hotels in London as well, called the Dorchester. Very, very posh. So pulled up outside of the Dorchester in an Uber, and it's a nice place when a man came to open the door. You don't even have to open your own taxi door because he opens it and he's wearing the top hat and the tails and with the fancy accent. I won't try and do it that they have in London, the posh one. Says madam, and then directs you to where you're supposed to be going. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful location. And then when we walked into the room where the awards is, it's huge. There's probably, I don't know, 20 or 30 great big tables. So there's a few hundred people there. And it just reminded me of a really, really nice cruise ship. Like the atrium of the Disney Wish or something like that, like really,
Hmm.
really luxurious, opulent. It was beautiful. And it was just such a great evening. The whole thing just flew past so quickly because,
Hmm.
we sat down and we had a meal, and then there was awards being announced in between the courses. But then also in between the courses, there's fantastic entertainment because various cruise lines had provided the entertainers from their ships. So I was really, really lucky. I had a seat right at the front next to the dance floor. So there was 12 dancers from one of Fred Olsen's ships, and they're doing all the cartwheels and the backflips and everything. Sort of being centimeters away from that kind of entertainment was just absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I loved every minute of it. It was really, really good. And then the after party, everyone was dancing, and then all of a sudden we're on the dance floor and the lights came on, and it's 1:00 in the morning, it's time to go home, and it felt like I've been there for about 5 minutes. It was brilliant. Really good.
So when I visit London in a year or so, I don't suppose I'll be staying at the Dorchester.
Well, I had a look to see how much it cost when I was looking for my hotel, and the cheapest room was £1,000 a night. So I didn't stay there. I stayed in the Premier Inn. It's an option for you.
Yeah. As I said, I won't be staying at the Dorchester. So and then you won. You did it again. And as we talked about, no one has won twice in a row. So talk about when they called your name.
Oh, it all just went by in a blur, really. It was just all of a sudden they were, announcing the award for best cruise blogger, and then they said my name, and it was just like, wow, amazing. Yeah. I mean, I was trying to think before, like, oh, could that happen again? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't feel like it could ever happen the first time, and then it did, and I was just in shock. But then what was a little bit different this time was that straight away, the team from World of Cruising magazine came over and said, would you mind doing a quick interview? So I was like, oh, okay. Like I didn't expect that. So straight away, as soon as I sat back down at my table, I was whizzed outside, and there's a whole setup with cameras and everything and questions and saying like, oh, how do you feel? And honestly, I don't even know what I said. I don't think any proper words came out. I was probably just a bit like, oh, blah, 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 I don't know. And they said, I remember the guy who was interviewing me, he said, oh, speechless is the word, then, is it? Yeah. Speechless. Yeah, that's all I've got for you right now. I'm a bit too shocked to come out with anything sensible.
So do you know when that World of Cruising piece will be published? Has it been published?
I believe it's been published. Yeah, I saw it very recently, and it's just the comments from some of the winners, and they did manage to get a line or two out of what came out of my mouth to put it in there. So yeah, you can look that up.
Yeah, I'll try to find it, but if you have it right available, the link, shoot it over to me. I'd appreciate it. Maybe I'll post it on the on the Joy of Cruising podcast Facebook group.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll send that over to you after this.
So was winning sweeter the second time, or I mean, contrast the two nights?
I think a lot has happened in a year, and I think doing something like, going all the way to London by myself to spend an evening, getting dressed up and spending an evening with a lot of people that I don't know, really. I mean, I'm acquainted with a handful of people, but really, spending all the evening chatting to various people from cruise lines that I don't know, it's quite a daunting thing the first time. And then I don't know, I think maybe I've just grown as a person or got more confident. I'm not sure, but I enjoyed it a lot more the second time. I just felt a lot more relaxed, and had a really, really good evening.
Probably too soon, but have you updated all your social platforms to publicize this, or do you plan on doing anything special with your followers?
Yeah, I just did a little post on each of them, just to say, I wish I got more pictures, really. I think I was too busy having fun. I think it was just as we were leaving at 1:00, we're about to get in the taxi, and somebody said to me, oh, have you got a picture of yourself with the award? I was like, oh, no, I haven't. She said, do you want me to take one? I said, oh, yeah, go on then. So we had a little picture. So, yeah, I just posted those on, Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and they sent me the updated winner's badge, so I've stuck that on my website, which is nice. A nice thing to be able to do.
Did you get a chance to chat with some other finalists?
I did, yes. I saw Richard and Helen from Visit With Us. It was really nice to see them again. And travel blog Jamie, who I followed for a really long time. I love his YouTube videos, and I've never met him in person. So I had a nice chat to him, and that was really good.
Hmm. Yeah, I met travel blog Jamie, through hosting him on the podcast. Great guy, and actually, that night that you won, I heard through him. Not he didn't contact me. He was just posting to his followers, of which I am one, and he mentioned that you won. So I real quickly sent you a note. I think your note had said you're getting ready to attend or something like that,
Mhm.
and I said, well, this note is only a few minutes ago, Jenny. What's the good news? I kind of knew the news, but I wanted to hear from you. But yeah, I was so happy when I heard that you won.
Oh,
Um,
thank you. Yeah, I didn't post anything on the evening because there was no signal in there for a start inside the hotel. Like nobody had
mhm.
any phone signal, and they did give out the Wi-Fi password, but I wasn't quick enough to get it down. But you know, I was just having such a nice time. I just didn't have time to post anything. So then the next day, when I was on the bus back, I then went and updated all the socials and let people know.
So along the lines of, I'd asked you, are you going to do anything special with your fans? This is not really directly related to the Wave Award, but just along the lines of doing anything special. A lot of the influencers and creators I interview have done group cruises. Do you see that in Cruise Mummy's future?
It's not something that I've particularly thought about or planned, but then again, it's not something that I would rule out either. Yeah, and I've seen a few other people do group cruises, and they always seem to sell out really, really quickly, and they always seem to have a lot of fun with it. I'm not sure if it might be better suited because a lot of people who do it are YouTubers. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I think with me focusing more on the blog than YouTube, I mean, I do have a YouTube channel, but I really focus on the blog. And I think with me, myself personally, I'm probably a little bit more behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So the content that I put out there is mostly, it's designed to help people answer the questions that they're looking for answers to, help people decide what to wear, help people decide whether to have the drinks package, rather than being about me. And I don't think people are particularly that interested in me as a person. Do you know what I mean? I just don't think my personality is as important as it is for people like YouTubers, like Ben and David, for example, who it is, people love them for the personality because that comes through really, really well on YouTube. So I'm not saying no, but I'm not saying yes. I don't know.
Yeah,
Who knows?
you're
I
you're
don't
too,
tend to plan things too much in advance, so let's see what happens.
uh, you're too humble, Jenny. Yeah, I was telling the listeners in the introduction, I think something like the seventh most popular cruise blogger in the world. So I think you're selling yourself a little short, but I'm like you though. I'm a behind the scenes person.
Yeah.
There are several cruise podcasters who have group cruises, and while I would not want to be very visible and vocal and in front of the scenes, on the one hand, there's another part of me says, maybe when I'm to the point where I can try to put together a group cruise, that will tell me that will signify that I have arrived as a podcaster. So, uh, not
Yeah.
not 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 something I think about a lot, but I do notice there are some podcasters who have group cruises. So
I suppose if it gets to the stage where people are asking you, please will you do a group cruise, and you've got enough
yeah.
people asking for you that you can just do it without having to then, put something together and ask people to come, I think that's probably
Hmm.
be a good time to do it.
So when I had you on the show in the past, maybe in the summer sometime, I can't imagine that you've sat still all that time. So give us highlights of any cruises you've done since you were on the show back in whenever, I can't remember when,
Yeah,
in the
I can't
summer.
remember when it was. I think it was it last year. Um,
No, no, because I haven't even been doing this for a year yet.
oh, maybe
So
not yet.
yeah, it'll be a year for me
Right,
in February.
right. I see. Oh, excellent.
Yes, yes. I think it was in the
Yeah,
spring or summer.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I've had a really good year for cruising. I've been on. 10 cruises so far in 2023. So about one a month so far, which is just incredible.
Wow. Well, let's go backwards because I'm sure I probably got some of the details of the ones you did early in 23. So tell us about your most recent cruise.
So the most recent one was in August, and we went on Fred Olsen's Barletta. So that was a multi-generational cruise with my mom, cruise granny, and myself, my husband, cruise daddy. We can go above that, and the two kids.
For the listeners, well, you will have seen it by the time this airs, but I was going to say I'm going to post photos of Cruise Mummy, Cruise Daddy, and Cruise Granny. So.
Yeah, that's it. There's a whole family of us. So that was really, really nice. That was the first time that we've cruised together on a multi-generational trip. And we went from Southampton, we went to Portugal and the Azores, which was just amazing. Just such a beautiful, beautiful destination, a group of small islands right in the middle of the Atlantic. That was absolutely fantastic. And that was just really nice to spend time as a family. And it's not a usual kind of family cruise, because I don't know if you're familiar with Fred Olsen, it's a British cruise line primarily.
Yes.
But it's most of the people who cruise on Fred Olsen ships are over 50. A lot of married couples. And in the school holidays, they open it up to children. And they just do a fantastic job of things like the kids club. They don't normally have a kids club, but they managed to make a kids club, and they do all kinds of activities. They take them all around the ship. They get to go in the bridge and meet the captain. They get to do whale watching. They even got to learn CPR. They had a first aid course, which is just not things that kids would normally get to do in the kids club on one of the bigger family ships. So that was really, really nice. We enjoyed that.
So that's great. So you're saying at other times, Fred Olsen is essentially an adults only cruise.
It is, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. That they might be helped by the growing the amazingly fast growing interest in adults only cruises because of what Virgin has been able to accomplish. And so that's neat. They're doing sort of the best of both worlds. They have adults only cruises, but when you say at certain times of the year, they allow children.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, which is brilliant. And I think it's mostly for grandparents who, they want to bring the grandchildren along, but they don't necessarily want to go on one of these big family mega ships with the water slides and the blasting music. They just it's something that caters for everyone. So yeah.
But that's not the first time. That Fred Olsen cruise wasn't the first time Cruise Granny cruised with you all, right?
I have cruised with her before, only once with my daughter as well, and we have cruised just the two of us. But this was the first time we went with all of the kids and my husband.
Oh, okay. Because I do remember writing about, when I wrote about you in the book, I do remember when you were working with a cruise with cruises. I think she cruised a lot because you would always give her inside information, what's available, what's cheap.
That's it, yeah. So since I've started my blog, my mum has gone on a lot more cruises. Yeah, because it's addictive, isn't it? And I think she's probably got more addicted to it because of me. And it's just today I sent her a text. I just happened to come across this deal. So I put together an email every week. I send it to my email list, and it's just the best deals that I found. It's only for the UK at the moment, but I am looking at making one for the US as well. So any deals that I come across that week, I'll put them all in an email. And if there's any that I think my mum likes, I just send them over to her as well. So I pinged her over one today. So yeah, it's my fault that she takes so many cruises.
Well, listeners, when Jenny says it's only for the UK for now, don't make the mistake of assuming her blog is geared for the UK audience only. Because I think, Jenny, when you were here before, you were telling me you have as many US
More.
followers as more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
more.
so.
So I think about 60% of the people who read my blog are in the US. Probably about 30% UK, and then 10% the rest of the world. So I send two emails every week. So one is the deals email that's currently just going to the UK, but like I say, I'm thinking of doing that for the US as well. And then every week I also send an email with the latest cruise news. So I'll pick the top 5 or 6 stories from that week. They get written up as articles and I'll send them via email. So yeah, signing up for that, it's obviously free and it's just a good way to keep in touch with the news and see what's been happening, what new ships are being launched, what kind of dramas going on that people are talking about. There's always something fun happening, isn't there, in the world of cruise?
Mm-hmm. So what other highlights in the last couple of months, last few months?
Yeah, so another great cruise that I went on with the kids this summer, which is quite an unusual one, is it's just me and my son and my daughter, and we went on a river cruise. And I love river cruises. Most of them aren't really suitable for kids, but this one was. It was Arosa Cruises, and the ship's called Senna. And we cruised through Germany and Holland and Belgium. And that's a really, really special ship because it's one of the only ones in the world that's designed with families in mind. So it has family cabins that sleep up to 5. It's got a fantastic kids club with loads of activities, kids meals in the restaurants. And we just had a really, really good time. It's just, I was a little bit worried at first about cruising with just me and the children. My husband didn't have any annual leave left, so that's always a bit of a problem. That runs out quite quickly when you want to do a lot of cruises. So we said, no, you can go without us. And I managed to find a really, really good deal for just me and the kids with a 3-person cabin. So yeah, we booked that. And honestly, I didn't need to have worried about looking after the kids on my own because they had an absolute whale of the time. They just wanted to go in the kids club the whole time, which meant that I had time to go in the spa by myself and sit out on the top deck with a cocktail. It was just really, really relaxing. Lovely.
What other amenities? Because you're right. Most river cruise lines don't cater to kids.
Mm.
What other features did this particular line have that they had because kids were allowed? I
Yeah,
assume they had a pool.
they did. They have 2 pools. And one of them is a children's pool. So it's really shallow and it's got water guns all around the edge so that they can squirt each other. And it was really nice weather as well in the summer. So that was just nice, just be able to sit by the pool and all the kids were in there. And what I like about the pools on river ships as well is that they have the current so that you can swim against it. So even though the pool's quite small, um, you can still do some good swimming. Um, and that was the same kind of thing. They did have a dedicated kids club, so it had like a soft play in there and lots of books and activities. But again, they'd be going around the ship, so they'd be going to the bar and they'd have a cocktail making class, like in the main bar, and they'd be going up on the top deck and doing kites and cornhole and games like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was really, really good.
Yeah, I go on. I could just keep talking to you about river cruising, but maybe offline or something like that. I go on my first river cruise in the summer of this coming summer of
Yeah.
24, and I am so excited,
Where are you
so
going?
excited. The river cruise itself is in France
Yeah.
for 7 days, but then we take a high-speed train into Paris,
Mhm.
and there's a 3-day land portion in Paris. So
Fantastic.
yeah, really nicely put together cruise. So a lot of great ships coming out in late 23 and 24 and 25. What are you most anxious to try?
So I think the one that I'm most excited about has to be Icon of the Seas because that's just Royal Caribbean's new ship. It's a new class of ship. and it's going to be special, isn't it? I mean, all of the Caribbean's new ships are amazing. With a new class coming out, bigger than anything else, with some of the facilities on there, like the water slides, like 6 or 7 different slides. It looks so cool. So I think that's the one that I'd most like to try.
Are you going to be on the inaugural?
No, I don't believe so. No, I've not heard anything. So unless someone wants to send me an email with an invite, I don't think so. No.
Yeah, I'm doing a good job. Well, a different approach. You know, I'm booked for the next couple of years,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, and that's not normally the way I operate. But
No.
as you get older, you become a little bit more cognizant of your bucket list. So,
Yeah.
I'm trying to do that. But anyway, I was thinking about getting on Icon, and I looked at the prices, and I said, at my age, I don't want to get another mortgage.
Oh,
And
I think as well, you can always, with something like that, if you just wait a year or two,
yeah, that's what I'll
isn't
do.
it? But just a lot cheaper. People don't always
Yeah,
pay a premium, don't they, to be the first?
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
in no rush either. It's
It
there.
was
I will definitely try it, but yeah, I don't need to be one of the first.
Yeah, it was crazy pricing. I mean, even for an inside cabin was like more than I've ever paid, anywhere near what I've ever paid for an inside cabin. But I do have a friend who is going to be on the inaugural, and so I've already scheduled them on the podcast to do sort of a trip report.
Oh,
So
brilliant. Oh, well, I'll make sure
yeah,
to listen to that one. Yeah, that'll be
yeah,
good. So you can just pretend you'll be living through them and
yep, yep,
see what
yep.
it's like.
What are you working on now at Cruise Mommy? Anything special?
So I'm just really focusing on updating a lot of content. So because I've had the blog for a while now, I've probably got about 800 articles on there. So
Mm-hmm.
I like to keep them fresh because information changes all the time, and I want to make sure that if someone Googles something and they find my article, that they're getting the latest information that's all correct. So as you can imagine, with 800 articles, each one takes a few hours to go through and check it and see what's changed and see how I can make it better to make it like the best quality articles. So that's where most of my time's going at the moment. I've also recently started posting more to Facebook. So I'd always kind of ignored Facebook because I thought, I'm an Instagram person. But now I've started posting on Facebook, and people are really enjoying interacting on there. So posting my recently updated articles onto Facebook, and also all of the cruise news as well that we write, that goes on there too. And then working on the email as well.
Well, tell our listeners again how they can follow you on social media and the internet.
Yeah, so if you just search Cruise Mummy, which is spelled the British way, so Mummy, rather than mommy, search Cruise Mummy, and you'll find me on however you want to follow me. But I would recommend signing up to my emails because there's quite a lot of useful information in there, or find me on Facebook if that I like, and then we can keep in touch. But yeah.
And for those who missed our previous episode, say something real quick about your Monopoly website, which is very interesting, and I think will be interesting to the new listeners. For those of you who want to get the story behind that, we talk about it a lot in the previous episode with Jenni. So just go back. If you missed that episode, go back and listen to episode 31. But just tell us the Monopoly site.
Yeah, that's right. So people are usually quite surprised that the cruise website isn't my only website. So I also have one which is all about the game of Monopoly. I love to play Monopoly with my family. There's so many different kinds of Monopoly as well, so we're always playing it. And then as we do, we tend to come across to a point where we can't agree over the rules. And it's not always written in the instructions what particular rule is. So I realise that that's something that people are Googling a lot. Monopoly questions, and they're not always easy to find online. So yeah, a few years ago I built a website that's all about Monopoly, and answers all of the questions, hopefully anything you could ever want to know about Monopoly, such as, how much are your old Monopoly sets worth? Should you buy the green ones or the yellow ones? So many questions, and that's something else that I'm passionate about. So I love working on that as well.
Well, Jenni, since I asked you my typical cruising fun questions last time you were here, I'll change it up this time and I'll ask you about my next favorite things: music, sports, and movies. If you don't like sports, that movies is right after sports. So I can ask you about movies. So first question: what's playing these days in your Bluetooth speaker or CD player or headphones or however you consume music?
So this is going to be such a boring answer, but honestly, I don't listen to music, I don't watch sports, and I don't watch movies. So it's like if you could pick three things that I'm into, it would be those things.
So no music, no sports, no movies, other than Monopoly. What are you interested in? I mean, I know you're a fanatic about cruising, but that doesn't count.
That's it. So I play Monopoly. I play chess. I'm quite into playing chess.
Now, do you play chess? Do you ever play chess with someone else via the internet?
No, but I think I should get into that. We've recently joined a chess club. So we go in person and we play chess with other people in our town. So that's quite fun. But yeah, I probably should get into online chess, because I know that's how a lot of people do it, isn't it, on the phone?
Yeah, I love chess, but I haven't played with a human being in, I don't know.
Oh, so you play against the computer then rather than something else?
6-7 years. Yeah, I play against the computer, and I had a really great app. It would beat me like I would win once every. This is no exaggeration. Maybe once every 1,000 games.
Oh wow!
And we play that much because I have been standing in a line, for instance, in a bank, and I'll start a game, and it will beat me before I get to the front of the line. So now I can make it less difficult, give me a greater chance to win, but I'm hard-headed and I keep thinking I'm going to win. So I don't make it easier.
Yeah.
But I would love to play a person, even if that person is, very far away.
Yeah, we should do it.
So when you figure that out and start yet another site besides Monopoly, I'd love to play.
Oh, a chess website would not be for me. No, I mean, I thought that I wasn't that bad at chess, and then when I started going to chess club with people who are really into chess, it makes you realize how much you don't know, because there's a lot, and those guys are just super, super intelligent when it comes to chess. So yeah, chess website would be way above my skill set. Monopoly I can do, that's easy enough, but not chess.
Well, so we won't talk about those other things because you don't watch it. Aren't you into like entertainers though? I mean, you get a lot of that on cruise ships.
I like going to watch the shows on cruise ships, and I like going to like the local theatre and watching like amateur dramatics and that kind of thing. And I do watch the occasional movie from time to time. I probably shouldn't admit this, it's a bit embarrassing, but the last movie that I watched a few weeks ago, we watched Dumb and Dumber. Because I just fancied something that was like easy to watch and just funny. Yeah, nothing's going to hurt my head too much.
Wow. I used to own, and a lot of people are going to say, what's he talking about? I used to own video stores.
All right.
Yeah. And the only reason I bring that up is when I reflect back, I owned video stores for over 20 years. When I reflect back, Dumb and Dumber might be it might be the highest renting video we ever had.
That's funny that I used to work in a video store probably about 20 years ago. So it was DVDs. And I used to be able to take home as many DVDs as I wanted at the end of the shift. And I still never did. I still never really watched that many movies.
Yeah, when I was, at the height of video stores, no exaggeration, Jenni, I would watch a new release every night.
Yeah.
And now, you can count on one hand the movies that I see in a year. So It's amazing how things have changed.
Yeah.
Well, Jenni, thank you for coming back on the Joy of Cruising podcast. Continued all the best to Cruise Mummy. We definitely will have you back again in 24, because I don't count this as you coming back. I count this as let's celebrate your victory. But we also want you to come back in 24 and tell us about some of those great cruises, because you always go on great cruises.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
thank you so much for having me on. I really, really appreciate it. And I'd love to come back and talk to you again next year. It's always fun.
all righty. You're always welcome. You are one of those folks who has an open invitation.
Oh, thank you. I love that.
Well, Jenni, I can't say congratulations enough. So congratulations. And as they say, we'll see you on the ocean.
Oh, thanks, Paul. See you again soon. Have a good day.
The Joy of Cruising and Cruising Interrupted, each $16.99 plus shipping, and new release, The Joy of Cruising Again, for $18.99, can be ordered at the link on thejoyofcruisingpodcast.com. For each of the 3 books, use the discount code Joy of Cruising Podcast and get $4 off. The Joy of Cruising books are also available at Amazon. Order the ebook at Amazon or your favorite online retailer. Stay in touch by joining the Joy of Cruising Podcast Facebook group or following the Joy of Cruising Podcast on Instagram. We're constantly adding new shows. Please leave a review and tell a friend about us. We hope you enjoyed this brief escape to the ocean. See you next week.